Imagine knowing exactly what you want to say. The words are right there, on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't get them out. Or perhaps you hear someone speaking, but their words sound like a jumble, a puzzle with no solution. This is the daily reality for millions of people living with aphasia. It is not a loss of intelligence, it is a loss of language. It can profoundly impact a person's ability to communicate, and to connect with loved ones, and to engage in the simple activities of daily life we take for granted. Understanding this condition is not just an academic exercise, it's a critical first step toward providing compassionate and effective care. For you, as a future occupational therapist, aphasia is a condition you will undoubtedly encounter. Your job is to help people regain their independence, and participate in meaningful activities or occupations of life. Communication is woven into nearly every one of these activities. Your role will be to become a bridge, helping your clients navigate a world that suddenly feels foreign and uncooperative. So, what exactly is aphasia? At its core, it's a communication disorder from damage to the parts of the brain that control language. Your brain is an incredibly complex organ, a command center with specialized regions for every function. Language is no different. It isn't controlled by a single spot, but rather by a network of interconnected areas working in perfect harmony. For most right-handed people, and even for many left-handed individuals, this intricate language network resides primarily in the left hemisphere of the brain. Think of it as the brain's dedicated communications department, processing every word we hear and formulating every word we speak. The first is Broca's area, typically located in the left frontal lobe. You can think of this as the brain's production studio. It's responsible for motor planning for speech. It takes ideas and translates them into precise muscle movements of your lips, tongue, and vocal cords. Then there is Wernicke's area, usually found in the left temporal lobe. This is the brain's language comprehension library. When you hear someone speak, the sound travels to your auditory cortex and then is sent to Wernicke's area where meaning is attached to words. These two areas don't work in isolation. They are connected by nerve fibers called the arcuate fasciculus. This acts as a high-speed data cable, allowing constant communication between production and comprehension. When a person suffers damage to Broca's area, the result is what we call Broca's aphasia. This is often referred to as an expressive aphasia because the primary difficulty lies in expressing language. The person knows what they want to say. The frustration comes from the brain's inability to execute the motor plan to get those words out. Speech becomes slow, halting, and requires immense effort. It's as if the bridge between thought and speech has been damaged and only a few words can make the difficult journey across. The symptoms of Broca's aphasia are quite distinct. You will often hear very short, telegraphic sentences, typically fewer than 4 words long. For example, go store, buy bread. They tend to leave out small, functional words like is, the, and an. The speech they do produce is often agrammatical. While their vocabulary may be intact, stringing words together is the major hurdle. This can be incredibly frustrating for the individual, as their comprehension is usually relatively good. This type of aphasia is most commonly caused by a stroke that affects the left frontal lobe, where Broca's area is located. Because Broca's area is near the brain's motor cortex, it's not uncommon for individuals to also have weakness or paralysis on the right side of their body. A person with Broca's aphasia can understand what is said to them quite well, but the breakdown occurs in their verbal output. This awareness of their struggle is a source of significant emotional distress. Now let's travel to another part of the brain's language network, Wernicke's area. When this region is damaged, it leads to Wernicke's aphasia, also known as receptive aphasia. Here, the problem is not with the physical production of speech but with the understanding of it. The person can speak fluently, with normal rhythm and intonation. The words flow out easily. The words themselves are often incorrect, nonsensical, or strung together in a way that is devoid of meaning. It's like having a library where all the books have been put back on the wrong shelves. The speech of someone with Wernicke's aphasia is fascinating, yet confusing. They produce long, grammatically complex sentences that sound like normal speech but are filled with what's often called a word salad. They might use made-up words known as neologisms, or substitute one word for another, a phenomenon called paraphasia. For instance, when asked what they had for breakfast, they might say, "Well, the morning was good, and I went for the thing with the round on the table." They are not aware that what they are saying doesn't make sense to others. Similar to Broca's aphasia, the most common cause is a stroke affecting the posterior part of the left temporal lobe. A key difference is that individuals with Wernicke's aphasia typically do not have any accompanying body weakness or paralysis. This can make the condition harder for family members to understand, as the person looks physically fine but their communication is profoundly impaired. The core deficit here is in comprehension. When you speak to them, it might sound like a foreign language. This lack of awareness, or anosognosia, presents a unique challenge for therapy. At first glance, Broca's and Wernicke's aphasias might seem like polar opposites, and in many ways, they are. Understanding their key differences is essential for you as a future occupational therapist, as it will guide your entire approach to communication and intervention. The most obvious distinction lies in speech fluency. A person with Broca's aphasia speaks in short, effortful, non-fluent phrases. They struggle to find words and form sentences. In stark contrast, a person with Wernicke's aphasia speaks fluently, often excessively so, but their speech is riddled with errors and lacks meaning. One struggles to get any words out, the other produces a stream of meaningless words. The second major point of comparison is comprehension. This is where the roles are reversed. An individual with Broca's aphasia generally has good comprehension, especially for simple language. They understand what is happening around them and are acutely aware of their own difficulties in speaking. This awareness is a double-edged sword, providing motivation for therapy, but also causing immense frustration. On the other hand, a person with Wernicke's aphasia has severely impaired comprehension. They struggle to make sense of what others are saying and are often completely unaware that their own speech is nonsensical. This lack of insight can make communication and therapy initiation very challenging. Let's look at a practical example. If you were to ask both individuals, "Please pass me the blue pen from the cup," the person with Broca's aphasia would likely understand you perfectly and hand you the correct pen. If asked what they did, they might struggle and say, "Pen, blue, give you." The person with Wernicke's aphasia might look blank, pick up a random object, or respond with, "Yes, the sky is nice when the window is going." While speech-language pathologists are the primary experts in treating the language impairment itself, occupational therapists play a critical and distinct role. Your focus is not on fixing the speech, but on helping the person live with the aphasia. Your goal is to maximize their independence, safety, and quality of life. You are the expert in doing. You analyze how aphasia impacts a person's ability to perform their daily occupations: dressing, bathing, managing finances, cooking, returning to a hobby. Your first step is always a thorough evaluation, but it's an evaluation with a twist. You can't just ask your client a list of questions about their daily routines. You must become a detective. Use observation, simple yes, no questions, and input from family members to understand their challenges. Is it unsafe for them to manage medications? Can they call for help in an emergency? Can they still enjoy a weekly card game with friends? The OT's approach is holistic. You look at the person, their environment, and the activities they need and want to do. For the person, cognitive strategies like gestures. For the environment, create communication-friendly spaces with labels and communication books. You adapt the world to reduce language demands and set them up for success. When you begin working with a client who has aphasia, your communication style is your most powerful tool. Be a patient, supportive communication partner. Slow down your own rate of speech. Give the person plenty of time to process and formulate a response. Don't be tempted to finish their sentences or guess their words. Maintain eye contact. Use a natural adult tone. Remember, their intelligence is intact. Speak to them as the adult they are. Use a multimodal approach to communication. Words are just one tool in your toolbox. Augment your speech with gestures, facial expressions, pointing. Use visuals whenever possible. For Broca's aphasia, provide a whiteboard, a pad of paper. For Wernicke's aphasia, use pictures, objects, demonstrations. Show the therapy band. Demonstrate the first movement. Concrete is better than abstract. Structure your interactions for success. Minimize distractions. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio. Speak in short, simple, direct sentences. Ask one question at a time and wait for response. Phrase questions for yes or no response. Confirm by restating. For example, did you say you want coffee? Yes? Okay, let's get you some coffee. This technique is called verification. In today's world, technology has become a powerful ally in overcoming the barriers of aphasia. These tools range from simple, low-tech solutions to sophisticated, high-tech devices. For many clients, the right piece of technology can be a lifeline. The key to ordering coffee or telling a loved one, "I love you." As you progress through your studies and into your career as an occupational therapist, you will learn countless techniques, theories, and clinical skills. But when you are faced with a person who has aphasia, your most profound tool will be your informed compassion. Understanding the neurological basis of Broca's and Wernicke's aphasias is not just academic knowledge, it is the foundation of empathy. It allows you to see the frustration behind the halting speech and the confusion behind the nonsensical words. It allows you to see the person who is trapped inside, fighting to be heard and understood. This knowledge will fundamentally change how you interact with your clients. You will no longer see a difficult or uncooperative patient. You will see a person with receptive aphasia who literally cannot understand your instructions. You won't see someone who isn't trying. You will see a person for whom every single word is a monumental effort. This perspective shift is everything. It will guide you to be more patient, more creative, and more effective in your therapy. It is the difference between simply administering a protocol and truly connecting with another human being. Your role extends beyond the clinic walls. You are an advocate. You will advocate for your clients with doctors, with other therapists, and most importantly, with their own families. You will teach a spouse how to use pictures to have a meaningful conversation with their partner for the first time since the stroke. You are helping to repair not just function, but relationships. So, as you learn the intricate details of this condition, never lose sight of the person. That is the core of occupational therapy, and it is a profound responsibility that you are now preparing to undertake.